My wife said, I don't see you as a husband anymore. We're more like roommates. So I treated her like one. No touch, no plans, no priority. She didn't like it. Then lost her mind. When she found out I'd contacted a divorce attorney. All right, Reddit. I didn't plan on airing my relationship drama, but I figured some of you would relate. Here's how we're roommates now turned into me blowing up our marriage. She still had the nerve to act surprised. Anyways, grab your popcorn and enjoy the shit show. I'm Scott, 33 male. I've been married to Cassie for 5 years. We bought a house in Stapleton 3 years ago. 2-car garage, finished basement, the whole suburban dream package. Except somewhere along the way, the dream started feeling like one of those jobs where you show up, do the bare minimum, and count the hours until you can leave. It wasn't one big thing. It was 1,000 small things that kept adding up. It all started 6 months ago when Cassie started spending every Tuesday and Thursday evening at her cousin Harper's apartment. Girls' night, she called it. Harper's one of those people who discovered feminism at 28 and decided to make it everyone else's problem. Every conversation is about the patriarchy or emotional labor, or how marriage is a social construct designed to oppress women. Real fun at parties. At first, I didn't think much of it. Cassie needed friend time, whatever. Then she started coming home from these hangouts with new opinions. Sudden hot takes about how she's been carrying the mental load of our household, how I don't appreciate her enough, how she's lost herself in our marriage. Here's the thing, though. I work 50 hours a week in logistics management. I make good money. I also do the yard work, handle all our car maintenance, manage our investments, do most of the cooking because I'm actually good at it, and I'm the one who remembers to schedule our furnace maintenance and gutter cleaning. Cassie works 40 hours a week as a project manager, and her contribution to the household is mostly complaining about what I'm not doing right. But sure, the mental load. 3 months ago, the bedroom situation changed. She started going to bed earlier, always too tired. Then it became headaches. Then it became, we need to reconnect emotionally first. That evolved into, I need to feel desired as a person, not just physically. And finally, it landed on, I just don't feel that way right now. We went from twice a week to twice a month to nothing. I stopped initiating after the 4th rejection in a row. A man can only take so many morale hits before he stops volunteering for target practice. What killed me wasn't just the rejection, it was the way she'd reject me. No warmth, no apology, just this irritated sigh like I'd asked her to help me move a couch up 3 flights of stairs. Like my desire for my own wife was this inconvenient burden she had to manage. 2 months ago, I noticed she'd stopped wearing her wedding ring. When I asked about it, she said, it was getting cleaned. That was 8 weeks ago. The ring's still in her jewelry box. I checked. She also stopped asking about my day, stopped laughing at my jokes, started talking to me in that flat voice people use when they're pretending to care. Last month, I suggested we take a trip for our anniversary. Maybe Costa Rica, somewhere we could reconnect. She said, we should save the money for the bathroom remodel she wanted. The bathroom that somehow requires $18,000 worth of tile and fixtures. But I digress. Then came the small disrespects that weren't actually small at all. She'd make plans without telling me, then get annoyed when I had my own plans. She'd roll her eyes when I talked. She started doing this thing where she'd be on her phone the entire time I was talking, then ask me to repeat myself like I was the one being rude. The phone thing got worse. She'd be texting someone and smiling. When I asked who she was talking to, she'd say, just Harper, or just work stuff, in this defensive tone. 2 weeks ago, we had people over for a barbecue. I spent all morning prepping, smoking ribs, making sides from scratch. Her cousin Harper was there, naturally. I overheard them in the kitchen while I was bringing in more ice. Harper was going on about how her ex used to expect her to perform wifely duties, like it was the 1950s. Cassie laughed, actually laughed, and said she totally got it. That marriage changes how men see you, how they stop trying once they think they have you locked down, how the ring is basically a trap that lets them get lazy. I was in the next room seasoning a brisket. I'd woken up at 5 a.m. to start smoking. That's when I knew things were about to get worse. And I was right, because the moment I knew we were done happened 5 days ago. I was looking at SUVs online. Our sedan's fine, but I've been thinking about something bigger. Maybe start a family in the next year or two. Need more space. I mentioned to Cassie that I'd driven a 4Runner, told her it handled really well, great safety ratings, good family car. She looked up from her phone with this expression like I'd just suggested we move to Antarctica. We need to talk about something, she said. I closed my laptop. Here we go. She did this whole deep breath thing, then launched into what was clearly a speech she'd practiced with Harper. She went on how she'd been doing a lot of self-reflection lately. She'd realized she'd lost touch with who she was before we got married. She'd been performing this role of wife without questioning if it was what she authentically wanted. I just sat there thinking, here we go with the Harper buzzwords. Then came the hammer. I mean, I don't see you as a husband anymore, she said, like she was commenting on the weather. I think we've evolved into more of a roommate situation. We coexist, but there's no real partnership, no intimacy. We're just two people sharing space. I let that sit for a second. Interesting. I said calmly, you realize you're the one who stopped everything, right? The bedroom stuff, the conversations, the connection. I've been trying. You've been at Harper's apartment twice a week for 6 months, learning about how oppressed you are. She got defensive immediately. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're dismissive. You don't take my feelings seriously. You can't even hear me express my needs without making it about yourself. I noticed she didn't deny anything I said, just attacked the way I said it. Communicate your needs? You stopped wearing your ring, barely talked to me, haven't touched me in 3 months, but somehow I'm the problem because I noticed? She closed her eyes and took a deep breath like she was centering herself or whatever. Harper probably taught her that too. I don't want separation, she said. I just need us to redefine our relationship. Take the pressure off. We can still live together, still be partners in running the household, but without all the expectations of a traditional marriage. We can be authentic with each other instead of forcing something that's not working. I stared at her. So you want to be roommates? Officially. She didn't like that phrasing. It's not like that. I'm just being honest about where I'm emotionally standing. I need some space to figure out what I want. You should be grateful that I'm being transparent instead of cheating. Lowell, grateful. She actually said that. Do you want to see other people? I asked. She hesitated. And that told me everything. Eventually she said, that's not what this is about. But if something developed naturally, I don't want to feel guilty about exploring it. I got the answer. Right. So you want me to keep paying the mortgage, maintaining the house, doing all the husband things, while you figure yourself out and date other guys? Cool. Sounds fair. You're being reductive, and I never said anything about dating. You said if something developed naturally. That's dating. You're just sugarcoating your words to make it sound less bad. She tried the empathy approach then, saying she knew this was hard to hear, but she was trying to be honest, trying to honor her truth, not live a lie. I thanked her for her honesty and told her I needed to process this. She seemed relieved, like she'd expected a fight, and was glad I was being so calm and mature about it. Like the good husband I was supposed to be. She went to take a bath, some routine involving candles and a face mask. Meanwhile, I was sitting there processing that my wife had just demoted me to roommate status and expected me to be cool with it. Well, she was dead wrong. Because I processed the whole thing already and started planning. If she wants roommates, let's treat her like one. And that's exactly what I did. But first, I needed to make a call. The next morning, I called a divorce attorney. Not to file yet, just to consult. I wanted to know what I was looking at. Colorado's a no-fault state, so that was simple enough. We'd married before I got my big promotion, so the income disparity would matter. The house was purchased during the marriage with shared funds, so that'd get split. The attorney asked if I wanted to try to save the marriage. I told him the patient was dead. I just hadn't called the coroner yet. He laughed and told me to start documenting everything. Finances, her behavior, communications. Keep it factual. Start separating my money. Get my ducks in a row. Then when I was ready, we'd file. He told me to document for the next 2 weeks, then we'd move forward. I scheduled a follow-up for 2 weeks out. Then I went to the bank. I opened a new checking account in my name only. Set up my direct deposit to go there starting the next pay period. I'd contribute to our joint account for bills, but only my exact half. No more floating extra money into it. Per my attorney's advice, I also switched all the joint auto pays to manual. Mortgage, utilities, everything. From now on, I'd transfer exactly my 50% to the joint account on the first of each month. She could do the same or deal with late fees. Clean separation of finances. Then I did this. I canceled our anniversary reservation at Fruition. We were supposed to go on Saturday. I'd booked it 2 months ago. I wanted it to be special. Yeah, screw that. I called them up, got a full refund since it was more than 48 hours out. I also called our insurance company and adjusted our policy. She could get her own car insurance. That'd save me about $1,200 a year. Then I did the petty stuff because why not? Took her off my Costco membership, changed all my streaming passwords, removed her from my Spotify family plan. Small things, but death by 1,000 cuts is still death. Wednesday evening, I stopped by the gym after work instead of coming straight home. I used to rush back because dinner together felt like something we should do. Not anymore. Worked out for 90 minutes, grabbed Chipotle, got home around 8. She was on the couch watching some reality show. Asked what I wanted to do about dinner. I told her I'd eaten. She looked confused but didn't push it. Just went back to her phone. No goodnight kiss. I used to kiss her forehead before bed every night. Not anymore. I went to the guest room, told her I was tired and wanted to spread out. She said okay in that same flat voice. Didn't even look up from her phone. Thursday morning, I left for work without saying goodbye. Used to wake her up with coffee. She texted me around lunch asking if I wanted to order from that Thai place we liked for dinner. I replied that I had plans with Sean, a buddy from work. Plans I'd made literally 5 minutes earlier by texting the guy asking if he wanted to grab food. Got home at 9. She was already in bed. Or at least the bedroom door was closed. For all I knew, she was on her phone texting whoever. Friday, I took the day off work. Didn't tell her. I'd been banking PTO anyway. Spent the morning at REI buying camping gear. I was going to start doing those solo trips I'd always talked about, but never did because she wanted to spend weekends together. I also swung by a jeweler and got my wedding ring appraised. White gold, worth about $800. Good to know for asset division. That evening, Cassie tried to initiate conversation. Wanted to know if I'd thought about what she'd said on Tuesday. I told her I had, that I understood she wanted a roommate situation, and I was adjusting accordingly. What do you mean adjusting? I mean I'm treating you like a roommate. Like you asked. Her face went through confusion, then understanding, then panic, then annoyance. That's not what I meant. I meant we should reduce pressure, not completely disconnect. You said you don't see me as a husband. I'm just respecting your perspective, though. Oh, and by the way, roommates don't celebrate anniversaries, so I canceled our reservation tomorrow. She froze. You did what? Canceled it. Roommates also don't share finances the way married people do, so I've adjusted that too. Going forward, we split bills 50-50. I'll transfer you a list of what you owe for your half of the mortgage, utilities, and internet. You're also off my car insurance and Costco membership effective next month. Her jaw dropped. She stared at me like I was speaking Mandarin. Then her expression shifted from confused to irritated. This is insane. You're overreacting to a conversation about our relationship dynamic. I'm reacting proportionally. You fundamentally changed the terms of our relationship. I'm responding to that change. This is what you wanted, right? Less pressure? No expectations? Just two people coexisting? She tried to argue, but I wasn't interested. I had plans anyway. Told her I was going camping this weekend. Solo trip. Leaving in the morning, back Sunday evening. This is our anniversary weekend. For husbands and wives, yeah. But we're roommates now. Roommates don't need to coordinate social calendars. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Finally just said, fine. Whatever, and walked away. I loaded up my truck at 6 a.m. Saturday and headed to Rocky Mountain National Park. Spent 2 days hiking, camping, completely off-grid. It was the most peaceful I'd felt in 6 months. Got about 15 texts from her over the weekend. Started with, where are you? Evolved into, we need to talk about this. Ended with, you're being childish. I replied once on Sunday evening, back tonight, see you then. When I got back Sunday evening, she was sitting at the kitchen table with her laptop open and this expression like she'd just been audited by the IRS. We need to talk about this financial breakdown you sent, she said. Not even a how was your trip? What about it? This can't be right. These numbers are wrong. They're accurate. I pulled the last 3 years of statements. Bank records don't lie. Here's what I'd found when I actually sat down and did the math. Over the last 3 years of marriage, I'd been contributing about 70% of our joint expenses despite her making a decent salary. She's a project manager at a healthcare company, pulls in about $78,000. I make $125,000. The mortgage is $2,400 a month. I'd been paying $1,700 of it. She paid $700. It made sense early on because I made more, but we'd never adjusted as her salary increased. I paid all the utilities. All of them. Electric, gas, water, internet, trash. That's about $400 a month I was covering solo. Groceries, I paid probably 80% because I did most of the shopping. Her contribution was occasional trips for random stuff, maybe $200 a month versus my $800. I'd paid for her car repairs in full twice in the last year. Once for brakes and rotors, $1,100. Once for a transmission service, $850. I'd covered probably 90% of the cost for the 2 vacations we took. I paid for every dinner out, every single one. That's probably $600 a month. When I added up 3 years of this disparity, the number was staggering. $78,000 more than her. She stared at the spreadsheet I'd sent her. This is ridiculous. You can't be serious. We're married. We don't nickel and dime each other. We were married. Now we're roommates. Your words? So what? You want me to pay you back $78,000? Are you freaking kidding me? She said it like I was being unreasonable. No, that money's gone. Water under the bridge. But going forward, we split everything 50-50, starting with this month's mortgage. Your half is $1,200. Venmo works. She looked like I'd asked her to donate a kidney. But I don't have $1,200 just sitting around. Then I guess you should budget better. You make almost 80 grand a year. Where's it going? She got defensive, said it goes to normal expenses. Her car payment, student loans, personal stuff, savings. Cool. Still need $1,200 for your half of the mortgage by the 1st. Also, you owe $200 for utilities and about $120 for your portion of the HOA fee. Her face got red. You can't do this. This is financial abuse. I actually laughed at that. No, it's equity. Financial abuse is what you were doing. Benefiting from a massive disparity while contributing minimal amounts and now wanting to redefine the relationship without adjusting the financial arrangement. You're being vindictive. I'm being fair. Pick one. We're married and we operate as a team with shared resources. Or we're roommates and we split everything evenly. You can't have it both ways. She tried a different approach, started tearing up, said this wasn't who I was, that I was being cruel, that she'd never seen this side of me, that Harper had warned her I might react badly, but she didn't think I'd be like this. You're seeing the side that stops accepting a bad deal. You want out of the marriage emotionally? Cool. But I'm not funding your lifestyle while you figure out if you want me or not. She wiped her eyes. I can't believe you're doing this over one conversation. Nope. It was 6 months of you checking out, treating me like garbage, and then formalizing it by telling me I'm basically a roommate you're stuck with. I'm just giving you what you asked for. She switched tactics again, got angry, said I was twisting her words, that she'd been vulnerable with me about her feelings, and I was using it against her. That this proved she was right about needing space because I was being controlling. I'm not controlling anything. You're free to do whatever you want, but you're not free to do it on my dime, while living in my house and eating my food. Our house. You mean our house? Nope. I mean the house I've been paying 70% of while you figured out how oppressed you were. But don't worry. After we split it, you'll have your own place. Total freedom. She looked like she wanted to throw something. Instead, she grabbed her keys and left. Didn't come back until after midnight. Monday morning, I got a text from Harper. All caps. What the heck is wrong with you? How dare you treat Cassie like this? She deserves better. I replied with a screenshot of the financial breakdown and wrote, she's free to make up the $78,000 gap anytime. Otherwise, she should focus on her own budget. Harper replied, you're a manipulative narcissist. I replied, and you're unemployed living off your parents at 32 giving marriage advice. We all have our issues. She blocked me. Good. Tuesday and Wednesday were quiet. Cassie stayed late at work both nights, or claimed to. When she was home, she was cold. Wouldn't look at me. Would leave the room when I entered. Fine by me. Thursday afternoon, I got a call from Sean, my buddy from work. He sounded uncomfortable. Then he dropped this bomb. Hey man, weird question. Is Cassie on dating apps? Pause. Why? My sister was swiping through Hinge and saw her profile. She showed me to make sure. It's definitely her. Recent photos and everything. I told her it had to be a mistake. Maybe a fake account using her photos. But I wanted to check with you first before saying anything. I thanked him and hung up. Downloaded Hinge. It took me less than 10 minutes to find her profile. Age 31. Looking for something real. Loves hiking, coffee dates, and deep conversations. Seeking someone emotionally available who values authentic connection and isn't afraid of vulnerability. No mention of being married. Interesting. I screenshot everything. Sent it all to my attorney with a message. Exhibit A. Then I sat with it. Part of me wanted to confront her immediately, but I'd learned something over the past week. Rushing into reactions was her game. Planning was mine. I decided to wait. Let it play out a little. See where it went. Friday evening, she came home in a good mood for the first time in weeks. She'd clearly been on a date. Hair done, makeup fresh, wearing the dress she saves for nice occasions. She walked in at 8:30 p.m. I was on the couch reading. She went straight to the bedroom without saying anything. Saturday afternoon, Sean texted me. Dude, my girlfriend just saw Cassie on a coffee date downtown. I'm sorry, man. I replied, all good. I know. Thanks for looking out. I spent Saturday doing exactly what I'd been doing. Hit the gym, grabbed food with Sean, came home late. Cassie was watching TV. She looked at me when I came in. Where were you? Out. Out where? Does it matter? We don't report our schedules to each other. She looked annoyed but didn't push it. Went back to her show. Sunday morning, her phone was on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. It buzzed. I glanced at it. Text preview from a name I didn't recognize. Had a great time yesterday. Want to meet up again this week? Interesting. I didn't say anything. Just filed it away. Monday afternoon, my attorney called. He'd reviewed the dating profile screenshots. Asked if I wanted to serve her now or wait. I told him I wanted to document a bit more. He said that was smart. More evidence meant a stronger position. Tuesday evening, she announced she was going to Harper's for the night. Their usual girls' night. She'd be back late. I said cool. She left at 7 p.m. I decided to test something. I drove to Harper's apartment complex around 8:30 p.m. Cassie's car wasn't there. I drove to a few coffee shops and restaurants near downtown. Found her car at a bistro on Larimer. Through the window, I could see her at a table with some guy. Laughing. Touching his arm. The full performance. I took photos from outside. Sent them to my attorney. Texted him. Ready to move forward. Let's file. He replied, papers will be ready Wednesday. When do you want her served? I replied, Thursday at her office. 2 p.m. He replied, done. Wednesday, I acted completely normal. Cassie came home late Tuesday night with the same story about Harper. I didn't say anything. Just stayed in my lane. Wednesday evening, she tried to talk to me again. Said she'd been thinking about our situation. That maybe we'd both overreacted. That she wanted to work on things. That she'd been wrong to use the word roommates. I told her that was interesting and we should definitely talk more this weekend. She seemed relieved. I wasn't interested in her sudden change of heart. I was just buying time until Thursday. Thursday, I worked from home. Cassie left for the office at 8 a.m. She'd be served at 2 p.m. I spent the morning boxing up some of my stuff. Photos, personal items, things I didn't want to deal with later. I wasn't moving out yet, but I was preparing. At 2:15 p.m., my phone rang. Cassie. I didn't answer. She called again. I let it go to voicemail. At 2:20 p.m., text message. We need to talk right now. Then the texts started flooding in. I can't believe you did this. Call me. I'm coming home. She walked in at 3 p.m. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my laptop. She stormed in holding the divorce papers. Her face was red. She looked like she'd been crying, but also like she wanted to kill me. What the heck is this? Divorce papers. You served me at my office. In front of everyone. That's where the process server could reliably find you. Are you freaking kidding me? Her voice was raising. You humiliated me. You humiliated yourself when you made a dating profile while still married. I just responded to it. Her face changed. The anger shifted to panic. What are you talking about? Cut the crap, Cassie. Half my friends have seen you on Hinge. You weren't exactly being subtle. She started to say something, then stopped. I could see her brain working, trying to figure out how to spin this. I was just exploring options. You were treating me like garbage. I needed to know if there was something better out there. There it is. Not an apology, not remorse, just justification. So you made a dating profile, went on multiple dates, and lied about where you were. But somehow I'm the one treating you like garbage. You pushed me to do this. You changed after that conversation. You got cold and distant. I gave you exactly what you asked for. You're the one who decided to cheat. She tried a different angle. Okay, I messed up. Fine. I can delete the profile. We can work on this. We don't need to complicate things. Yeah, we do. Scott, please. I made mistakes, but we can fix this. Just listen to me. I'm not interested in fixing this. You showed me exactly who you are. You got bored, decided I wasn't enough, and instead of having an honest conversation about divorce, you tried to set up a soft landing with other guys while keeping me as a backup plan. That's not a mistake. That's a character trait. She started crying. I still felt nothing. Please don't do this. I love you. You love what I provide. There's a difference. I stood up. You have 60 days to respond to the petition. My attorney will be in touch about the house and assets. Until this is final, you pay your half of everything. If you can't make rent, you should probably start looking for somewhere else to live. Where am I supposed to go? Harper's Place? Or maybe one of your Hinge matches has a spare room. She called me a heartless jerk. I told her that was probably fair, but I wasn't going to be her backup plan anymore. She grabbed her stuff and left. I heard her car peel out of the driveway. I sat there for a minute, Felt lighter than I had in months. My phone buzzed. Text from Sean. How'd it go? Papers served. She's spiraling. I'm good. Steakhouse tonight? Yeah, I'm buying. The next few days were chaotic. Friday morning, I got a string of texts from Cassie. Long rambling messages about how she'd made mistakes, but I was throwing away 5 years of marriage over one bad decision. How she'd been confused and Harper had convinced her to try dating, to see if she really wanted out. How the dates didn't mean anything. How she realized now that she'd been an idiot. I didn't respond to any of it. Friday afternoon, Harper called me. I answered because I was curious what she'd say. You need to drop this divorce, she said. No hello, no preamble. Cassie made a mistake, but you're being vindictive. Harper, I'm going to say this once. You spent 6 months poisoning my marriage with your failed relationship baggage. You convinced my wife she was oppressed because she had to contribute to a household. You encouraged her to make a dating profile. You enabled her lying. Whatever happens now is partially on you. So I'd suggest you stay out of it. She tried to argue, but I hung up. Saturday, Cassie showed up at the house. I'd changed the locks Friday evening after she left. My attorney had filed for temporary orders that morning and confirmed I could secure the property as long as I made her belongings available for pickup within 24 hours. She rang the doorbell for 10 minutes before I answered. Why did you change the locks? Because you don't live here anymore. Yes, I do. My name's on the mortgage. And you'll keep paying your half until we sell. But you're not staying here. You wanted space. You got it. You can't kick me out of my own house. Watch me. You want back in, you can file an emergency motion with the court. Until then, your stuff will be on the porch by Monday. She tried to push past me. I didn't move, just stood in the doorway. Scott, please, can we just talk? We did talk. There's nothing left to talk about. Where am I supposed to stay? Not my problem. She called me cruel. I closed the door, boxed up her stuff Sunday, everything. Clothes, toiletries, shoes, makeup, all of it. Put it in boxes on the front porch Monday morning with a text. Your things are outside. Take them today or they go to Goodwill tomorrow. She came by Monday evening with Harper. They loaded everything into Harper's car. Cassie was crying the whole time. Harper kept shooting me dirty looks through the window. I waved. Tuesday, I got a call from Cassie's mom, Brenda. She was actually crying. Son, what happened? Cassie won't tell me anything except that you're divorcing her. Brenda, I love you. You've been good to me. But this is between Cassie and me. She can explain to you what happened. But your daughter thinks we were playing house, not being married. She said she understood, but she was worried about Cassie. Said she seemed really unstable. I told her Cassie should probably talk to someone professional about that. Brenda thanked me and hung up. Wednesday, Cassie created a new Instagram account and posted a long story about toxic masculinity and narcissistic abuse. Never mentioned me by name, but made it pretty obvious. Lots of her friends commented with support. Lots of heart emojis and "you deserve better" messages. I didn't respond. Didn't even look at it after Sean sent me a screenshot. Friday evening, I was at the gym when I ran into one of Cassie's friends, Tori. She approached me while I was on the treadmill. You know Cassie's a mess right now, she said. I'm aware. She's staying with Harper and apparently it's not going well. They've been fighting. That's unfortunate. Tori looked at me like she was trying to figure something out. Look, I know you guys are getting divorced. I don't know what happened. But Cassie's my friend, and she's spiraling hard. Then maybe she should have thought about that before she nuked her marriage. Tori left after that. Saturday morning, Harper posted on social media about toxic men who weaponize divorce. About how some guys can't handle women who know their worth. About emotional abuse that masquerades as fairness. I screenshotted it. Sent it to my attorney. He replied, "Let them keep talking." Sunday night, I got a call from an unknown number. I answered. It was Cassie. She was crying hard, almost hyperventilating. Scott, please. I'm sorry. I messed up everything. I was stupid. Harper convinced me I was unhappy, but I wasn't. I was happy with you. Please give me another chance. I listened to her spiral for about 3 minutes. Then I said, I hope you get help, but we're done. Sign the divorce papers. Move on. I hung up. She called back. I didn't answer. She called 6 more times. I blocked the number. Monday morning, my attorney called. Cassie's attorney had reached out about settlement. She wanted to work something out. Wanted to try mediation before court. I told him no. File everything. Let's finish this. Tuesday, I found out through Sean's girlfriend that Cassie had been fired from her job. Apparently, the stuff she'd been saying about me got back to HR, and they didn't appreciate her creating hostile work environment drama. She tried to claim it was personal stuff, but they'd had complaints from other employees about her behavior, and it was the final straw. She'd already been on thin ice for being late and distracted the past few months. Sean's girlfriend mentioned Cassie had received 2 written warnings in the last quarter. One for missing deadlines, another for unprofessional conduct during a team meeting. The gossip about me was just what gave HR the excuse they needed. Wednesday, I heard from Brenda again. Cassie had asked to move back home with them. They'd said no. They were disappointed in how she'd handled things. They loved her, but they couldn't enable this behavior. Friday evening, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Cassie using Harper's phone. Scott, I know you hate me. I deserve it. But I'm begging you. I can't afford to live on my own without a job. I can't go back to my parents. Harper's kicking me out because I told her this was all her fault, and we got in a huge fight. I have nowhere to go. Can I please stay in the guest room just until I figure things out? I'll pay you back for everything. I'll sign whatever you want. Please. I read it. Part of me felt bad. Small part. But mostly I just felt tired. I replied, nope, figure it out. You wanted independence and authentic living. Here it is. It's been 3 weeks since that text. Cassie signed the divorce papers last week. No mediation, no fight, just signed them and sent them back through her attorney. The house sold in 6 days. We listed it on a Thursday and had 3 offers by Sunday. Closed last Friday. I walked away with $78,000 after we split everything and paid off the mortgage. I already had the condo picked out downtown. Moved in Saturday, 12th floor, views of the mountains, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 900 square feet. It's perfect. Nobody's going to tell me they don't see me as anything other than what I am here. Cassie moved in with an old college friend. I heard through Brenda that she's waitressing while looking for another project management job. Harper apparently stopped talking to her after their fight. Something about Cassie blaming her for everything that happened. Harper told her to take some personal responsibility. They haven't spoken since. Me? I'm doing great. I've been hitting the gym with Sean 4 times a week. Down 18 pounds. In the best shape I've been in since college. I've started woodworking. Converted half my condo building's shared garage space into a small shop. Built a coffee table last week. Working on a bookshelf now. It's satisfying making something with your hands. The divorce will be final in about 6 weeks. Then it's official. 5 years erased. Clean slate. I don't miss her. I don't miss the house. I don't miss any of it. What I miss is the time I wasted trying to fix something that the other person was actively breaking. But that's done now. Tonight I'm meeting Sean and some other guys at a steakhouse downtown. Next weekend I'm going camping in Utah. Life moves forward. Sometimes people show you who they really are. And when they do, you should believe them. Cassie showed me she valued her cousin's opinions more than our marriage. That she valued her own comfort more than our partnership. I believed her. And I responded accordingly. She got exactly what she asked for. She just didn't realize what she was giving up to get it. That's not my problem anymore. The trash took itself out. Now the house is clean. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.